Hello everyone. It's Monday morning and I'm back in my studio. I just finished up all of my weekend orders, finished packing them up, and I've been working on these pretty little embossed flower tags. They have the prettiest little flower patterns on them, and then they've got some vines that connect it. And I've got some ribbon at the top and then a little reinforcer. I think they turned out really pretty, and I'm going to show you real quick how I made them. Alright, I'll scoot that to the top. I started out by cutting out several of these tags on my Cricut machine. Now if you don't have a Cricut machine or one that cuts out tags for you, I've also used this before, and this is just a 2 3/16 inch. Let me zoom out a little bit here, they're kind of close. Just a tag punch that you can use. If you don't have that, you can always just cut a piece of white cardstock out, and this is 1.5 inch by 3 inches, and then use a hole punch at the end to punch out your hole. But I'm going to show you with these, and to start out then I cut 2 of them. One of them I'm going to run through my embossing folder, and the other one I'm going to leave plain, because on all of my tags I always like to have a smooth back on them. So if my customers want to write a note, they can, or a to from on it, or if they're using these for price tags, they have a spot on the back to write as well that's smooth. Because we all know it's kind of hard to write on an embossed, raised up tag. So that's why I always like to have a smooth back. The folder I'm using today is this one. It's just beautiful. I thought these were bows when I first saw them at the top, but they're actually little butterflies. I think they're really pretty. And the part I'm going to be using is actually this bottom part that's got the flowers and the little vines to it. So I am going to go put this in here. I'm just going to layer. This is just wide enough to fit in there. If it wasn't, I could turn it sideways or whatever, but this one's going to fit perfectly in here. I'm going to run it through my embossing machine, and I'm going to do 2 of these at a time, so I'm not wasting a run through there. And then I've got a couple other smooth ones all still got cut out, so I'll be right back with those. Okay, we have these ran through. We'll pop them out here, and then I have these 2 plain ones that I'll do on the back of these. So now I'll be able to do 2 of these. I come down a little closer and move this up so you can kind of see what I'm doing a little better. See if that helps. All right, we're going to use just this one. I've got a piece of glue paper, and then I've just got some stick glue, and I'm going to saturate this pretty good. I don't want it coming apart. And then I'm going to line it up as best I can. And if there's any purple glue sticking out, that will dry clear. I just like using the purple so I can see, make sure all the glue I want on there is hitting the spots I want it to hit. So we've got this, and I'm going to use a clean piece of paper and lay out here. And then I have some Tim Holtz Distress ink, and this is in the walnut stain. And then I've just got an old kitchen sponge that I'm using. I say old kitchen sponge, it was a new kitchen sponge. I'm not using one I've already used on my dishes, but I do use this just for crafting. And I'm going to go right on top of this and just hit these embossed tops here. And it's just really going to pull that flower and those vines out. So pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? So if you notice on these, I've put in a little reinforced ring here, and I'm just using these Avery reinforcement labels for this. They're the perfect size for the circle I have at the top. Let me pull one out. Get a hold of it. There we go. Oh, and actually I got 2 of them. Okay. I'm going to set this to the side, and these are really, really white, and I don't want it to just be a bright white on there, so I'm going to use my same sponge and go over this whole area so it gets kind of the same color hue on there. Quick and simple. And so if you're using different colors, you know, pinks or blues or whatever for this project, to have that color on there on for your flowers and stuff, you could use that same kind of color then to do these little reinforcement spots. Okay, we're done with our sponge. I'm going to pull this off. Get one there. It's going to go at the very tip top. Well, if I could get it lined up right, I would. Okay. There we go. Simple, simple. And then I've got about a 10-inch piece of ribbon here. This is just a brown check to kind of match my brown. Most of the time I just use, you know, some cotton string like this. But I thought that brown color might be kind of pretty in these for today. I'll line it up. I like to fold it in half. Then I'll put it through the top. And then make a hole, a little loophole, and then pull that through. And that is that for these. And like I said, don't be afraid to use these other ones that you have. Actually, I think I might run these through and do these real quick, and then I'll come back and show you what these look like, just in a little bit different shape. So I'll be right back. Okay, I just finished those two, and so I'm going to stick some matching ribbon through both of those. And I think these turned out just as pretty. Poke that right through there. Pull it through. Cute. This one's just a little shorter, but just as pretty, I think. There we go. Those are all done. So if you give this a try, be sure and let me know in the comments. Thanks everyone. That's it for today. Have a great day. Bye.